and just how you've been able to meet with them and how it has been.
Awesome. God is good
all the time.
All the time. Are you sure you say those things and be recorded? It's just amazing seeing God at work. When we started the teens class last year, and part of that they come and young people have many questions. Yes. So one of the things I'm learning is to brace myself for questions and anything. Yeah. But one of the things I'm grateful to God for is just in the journey. When we started with questions, who is God? I mean, who is Satan? Why God? And you ask questions and you're thinking, wow, why church? And they have amazing questions, and I think as we walk the journey, one of the things I have seen and I'm thanking God for is the growth in them. It's been interesting. On holidays we have a few young men. Most of the times it's three girls, including my own daughter. So you can imagine having asked tough questions. Yeah, and she asks very difficult questions. Yeah. But we've been walking this year through a book called The Lies Young Women Believe In. Lies about God, lies about Satan, lies about religion, lies about self, lies about relationships. And as we have been doing those things, just sitting down and being able to have honest chats. And at times one of the things I've learned to say, I don't have the answer. Bible has the answers, God has the answers. Let's sit and discuss. And I've seen growth at that. And even as we're walking the journey, my request, keep praying for us. Because it's a journey. The youngest is 12. You have an 18-year-old now. As you can imagine, that gap and being able to, how do you communicate? I can say this one. How do you communicate about sex to a 12-year-old? And yet the others who understand have an idea about that. But be able to walk that journey. And one of the things that blew my mind last weekend is hearing them making commitments. But you know what? We shall commit to it for our husbands. And that was amazing. And they said, you know what? We shall hold each other accountable. Like, okay, okay, that date. Who is going to come? Can we have a bodyguard, with you? And just understanding that one of the things that I'm learning is that teens want a friend, not a teacher, and not just a parent, a friend. So the fact we can sit there and everything we discuss stays on the table. Some of it I can't even discuss with the folks, and it's just saying, look, you walk that journey. And one day we sing that song, see what the Lord has done. Yes. So it's been an amazing journey. I thank God. I think it's a privilege to work with the young ones. I can't wait to see who they are going to turn out to be. Bless you.
Yeah, I think I'm a beneficiary of that. My daughter being held accountable by somebody. Yes. Get the data. But it's so wonderful just to have those conversations. That book, The Lies That Women Believe, is a powerful. In fact, even adults can do it. But I know at the teenage level, it's very, very interesting. And so the things that they talk, the questions that they ask. And it's true, the other day I was invited to speak somewhere to some parents, and they said, how do you parent children in the 21st century? And one of the things they say that you have to be their friend. As we were parented without friendship, it was father, parent, children. Now that cannot work. If you try to parent your children the way you parented, you are out for a serious failure. You have to be their friends, and then they know much more than we know, or we think they know. Yeah. And so you also need to talk to David and get some insights, get some input, so that you can have those conversations with them. I want to invite at this point. We have I think three people here who have been faithful and have been in this church for the longest. I think we need to give them a long-serving award. And that is Mary and Jane and Eric. These are people that have been here forever. And Nikki was not able to come today, but these are people who have been there forever. And so I don't think I am qualified even to share about the church than them. And so I want to invite Eric to just come and give us a rundown of how the church began and just our journey to this place. And I know Eric is one of the elders of the church. So just imagine yourself sitting down and and he's telling us a story. And just telling us a story, the journey. Some of you, when the church began, sometimes I sit down and now in counseling, I'm counseling some people and they tell me that the years they were born, I was already unfinished campus when they were born, and now they are married, they are sitting there in front of me. That's how time flies. And so some of these years may look like very, very long time ago, but for us, it's just the other day. And so let Eric just share with us.
Thank you, Barnabas. I'll try to. You can't come and I'm saying, for a long time, we'll go for either weddings or those ceremonies where they say, and they call it clutch. I think I've only stood for one. Yeah, so then you just don't know me. Yes, actually, I'm one of the clergy. Yeah, but life, community church is, I don't know where to start, but I'll try and make it short. And when you look at that logo, it can tell you a lot about where we come from. So the green and the brownish color represents different ethnicity or community, or you can think about skin color. So in this church we have people from all over the world. Okay, and then so some of the things that the founder Mark Kiru was the founder of this church. Okay, so some of you have met him, some haven't. And when they sat down, that time it was like Les Brickman, and Tyler, and just thought through, what do we want to communicate? What do we want this church to be all about? What is God saying about Life Community Church and about this church? And so they came up with the name Life, and they thought about, if there's anything that is powerful, it's community. So in those days, we will remind the church we are like a dove. One wing represents the community, the other one is the Sunday service you have. So the community is what you have, the fellowship you have, what I talked about last week, koinonia. Okay? And you can see how powerful that is to have a community. And all that, I don't know how to say this, but we realize that many people who have no hopes and dreams, they are either been swept under the carpet. But one thing that came out was that, let me call it a slogan, because God restores. Mic check. Okay, because God restores hopes and dreams. Yeah, that's a little bit about how we came, that came about. And so we started church in an apartment here in Kilimani. After leaving, before that we had Destiny. So people like J1, Kim, Dai, Destiny Chapel. Who else? Jay is here that was in Destiny Chapel then. Mary, were you in Destiny then? Yes. So it was just, and Pastor Mark approached us and said, hey, we would like to form a church, and it will stand up. It will be all about this. So that's how we ended up being some of the people who founded the church. And so we started at Les and Tyler Brickman's apartment, which is on Demi Road. Demi Road is Demi Lane is the lane after Adams, on your left. That's how we used to meet. And then Dickie and my wife were the worship team. Dickie with the guitar and Martha just with the mic. That was it. And that's how we grew. And moved from there, we grew, the numbers grew, and then we moved from there to here, to TRC.
Yeah.
Yes.
No. TRC.
It was TRC. Yes, we used to meet. There's that room over there.
Yeah.
That's where I used to meet.
Yeah.
Can you remember? My sister is here today with us. One of the former members of LCC, and I was a very big beneficiary of LCC. Besides my sister and the one who's is now abroad, really benefited being part of LCC. And for me at that time I felt, wow, this is a community and God is restoring hopes and dreams. It's at that time that I discovered, oh, my sisters are born again. I didn't know. The way you assume, you're not sure, you're just there, like, I know they like God, they love God. And Pastor Mark told me, hey, are you sure your sister's not born again? And then, then I confirmed they are born again. And that goes back to tell you, we need to get to know each other a bit more and better, right? Yeah. So we just, I think then we are just about 9 people. It was the late Irene, that was Pastor Mark's wife, the late Irene, Dickie. The person I've not mentioned here is Gladys. If you remember Gladys was less than toilets help. Yeah, so that's how we started church. You remember? Those are good memories. Yeah, so then we began something called, when the community was introduced, it was introduced through a class called ECL, Exploring Community Life. How many remember, the few were here, Exploring Community Life? Where you remember, in Emma? And that's like the classes that introduced us to now. We had coaches and apprentices. I was an apprentice. Pastor Barnabas was a coach. And yeah, so we had the women's fellowship, we had the men's fellowship that used to meet at Joanna. Remember Joanna? Joanna is the one who used to host us. Her home was the office. You see the church office right now? The apartment on Marcus Garvey. So Chaka Road extends, crosses Argwings Kodhek and becomes Marcus Garvey. So there, Sumo. It was Sumo apartments, right? Yes, that's where we used to meet. That's where we used to hold our meetings. I mean, the story is long. I'd like to cut it short, but there's a lot to tell you. So I ended up being in the finance. John and I served the longest. I don't know to call it finance. Admin. It was more of admin. And Mary, yes. Yeah. So in that finance, yeah. You know the way you wear many hats, eh? Yeah. So it was a nice journey. So we've had people come in committees, serve long, and then release them or allow other people to come take up. And later on, more people joined. People like the late Brian, who was an elder here. Barnabas, when did you join? 2012. Yeah. So we started in 2011. So it's 12 years right now. Yeah, 12 years. 2012, when Barnabas came in as a marriage coach. Yeah, and also supporting the staff team. Barnabas and Grace, of course. Yeah, so two ships, wakakuja in twos. That was wonderful. There's a time we were online for a bit. Okay, so after TRC, we moved to Logos. Logos used to be at Chaka Road. And we were there for a while, and then during COVID, we could not continue. I mean, even the school had to close down. And for a bit there, I don't know how long, I don't remember, we were now doing online, church online. And then now here we are, back again at TRC. And I must say it's wonderful to just think about how far God has brought us. There are many things God has spoken to us as a church. I long to see that fulfilled. I shared this in the last time I was here sharing about the church. There's a lot that God has shared with us about this church, and what I like about God is that He has many vessels to use, and you are part of that. You are those vessels God is going to use, and He is using to make to restore hopes and dreams. Okay, what have I left out? I think that's it for now. So let's celebrate our 12 years Life Community Church. Thanks.
Yeah, come on, let's appreciate Eric. So Eric and Pastor Nyambura here, myself, there is Daniela, who has been actually taking care of the Life Kids. But beginning of this year, just because of the many travels, work, taking care of her sick husband and then her sick mom. Many of you may remember Auntie Caro. Yeah, Auntie Caro has had some issues of dementia. So this is what Daniela tells me, that she can wake up in the middle of the night and ask Daniela, I want to see Pastor Barnabas. The middle of the night. That's how sometimes she can be. So it's not easy trying to take care of her. So she's had to bring her back home, and it's not been very, very easy. So we allowed her to just take some rest so that she can minister to her family. So that's the leadership of the church. We thank God that in all these many years, I remember just with the transitions are never easy for any church, and transition can hit people hard, and we were able to weather the storm. But before we could even lift our heads off, COVID hit, and COVID hit churches hard. very, very hard. And so many churches have not recovered even up to now. And so with that, we lost our venue. We used to meet at Logos School for the longest time. Logos School and Logos also, they ask scholars and say, with COVID the whole year, they were not able to pay the teachers, so they are also not making money. So all the schools folded. The one at the kindergarten where we used to meet, and the one at near State House, the primary school, all were folded up and went back to Chapel, Nairobi Chapel compound. And so, the owners gave up the place, and so we found ourselves without a venue. But God is very faithful. Eric mentioned Joanna. Joanna used to be the church admin, a missionary working with us now in California. And it's through her that we got an office here at TRC. And we began a relationship with TRC. And they're the ones who say, now, because you don't have a place, we can make a place for you here. It's them constantly giving us ideas of what we can do. And very, very lenient with us, very, very patient with us. And they have been such a wonderful, wonderful, if I can use that word, landlords to us as a church. I don't know if you remember the old man who used to be at the security, used to be at the gate, Paul. Yeah, Paul retired. I forgot, so sorry, forgive me. I forgot to mention this. Paul retired. His last working day was 30th of September. And so we had a party for him on the 26th of September. That was my birthday. And they asked me to share in that prayer. And so I was just so glad just to share. For me, I felt it like wakati wa kurudisha mkono. It was a time of just saying thank you. And I still need to talk to the elders. We need to also give something. And it's very interesting because the day that he was retiring, he wasn't even there in person. He collapsed that morning. He has a heart condition. And so for you, those of you who used to go to there and it takes long to come, please. Now understand. Sometimes I will get so frustrated and just be patient. But I later on realized he had a condition, and so I think he's doing better. I've been following up. He's doing better. He's now gone back to Kitui, where he came from, and they were able to buy for him a water tank. What a blessing, water tank, and so with plus other offerings and gifts that we were able to give him. So in case you don't see him there, he retired. Yes. So that's wonderful. So we are here to celebrate, and I'm not going to take long. We want to celebrate. Celebrating, we get confused whether 13, 12 years, but Eric has confirmed it's 12 years. So it's 12 years. So we want to celebrate 12 years of being here as a church, and celebration. The Bible speaks often of celebration and instructs us to celebrate. Celebration is part of the regular rhythm of our lives, should be part of the regular rhythms of our lives. In Psalms 145 verse 7, it says, "They shall eagerly utter the memory of your abundant goodness, and will shout joyfully of your righteousness with psalms." And then Psalms 126 verse 3 says, "The Lord has done great things for us. We are glad." Psalms 34 verse 3 says, "Oh, magnify the Lord with me, and let us exalt his name together." Isaiah 13 verse 29, "Even when the economy is hard and things are difficult, you'll have songs as in the night, when you keep the festival, and gladness of heart as when one marches to the sound of the flute, to go to the mountain of the Lord, to the rock of Israel." And so God invites his people to celebrate because he is a God of celebration. If you look at the Old Testament, there's a lot of celebration. God is a God of celebration. If there's anywhere where we can identify with God is as Africans. We are people who love celebrations. We are always celebrating. There are always things. Nowadays, another day somebody was telling me that there was a celebration. Actually, yesterday we couldn't sleep at night. There were some fireworks, and I was asking. I thought it was Diwali. I know we have a lot of Asians in our estate. So when I woke up this morning, I was told, no, it wasn't a Diwali. It was somebody proposing to his wife at Olestereni. so proposing. And so there were fireworks. So we like to celebrate. A proposal, we celebrate. A baby is born, we celebrate. That day I was being told about birthdays. And these people are saying, no, a baby's birthday. No, they are spending tens of thousands. And I'm thinking, yeah, we are a people who love celebrations. We are entering a new house, we celebrate. We are, whatever happens, we buy a new car, we celebrate. It's a celebration. So we are a people who celebrate. And so that's very spiritual. It's part of the nature of God. And so often we think about the serious things of the kingdom of God. But living in this kingdom, part of it should be our celebration. Not just for the productivity and the work that we do, but also should be a celebration. In the Old Testament, celebration was woven throughout the scriptures, as I've said. In fact, in Exodus 23 and verse 14, they are commanded that they must gather together and celebrate 3 times a year. They had to have a feast. There was the Passover feast, there was the feast of the harvest of the first fruits, which is Pentecost, and then there was the feast of the ingathering at the end of the year. So those were 3 major festivals. And I happen to have lived in India. You know, in India, a wedding is not a one-day activity. It is a week. So for a whole week, they will close the roads and there will be celebrations. And so even the Jews are they're like Indians. Their celebrations were not for one day. It was for a week where you celebrate from Monday to Friday. It's all about celebration. And so 3 times a year, the children of Israel will go to Jerusalem and there will be a festival. The families were excited as they walked up and went to attend these celebrations. But also in the New Testament, celebration is at the heart of the life of Jesus. When he enters the world, the angels are singing in celebration, as we'll be singing in a few weeks' time, as we sing, "Hark the herald, the angels sing." And so Jesus coming to the earth is ushered in by a serious celebration. The first miracle that Jesus does is at the wedding of Cana, another celebration where water is turned into wine. Again, a celebratory mood. And so we see this all through the Old Testament and the New Testament. Celebration is a part of our lives. In fact, somebody has said that celebration is a spiritual discipline. You know, we just know of the discipline of fasting and prayer and reading the word, but even celebration is part of that discipline. And so once in a while, you should need to take time and celebrate. Celebrate the goodness of the Lord. Celebrate his greatness. Celebrate what the Lord is doing in your life. In the midst of rebuilding the walls of Jerusalem, in a very difficult time, Nehemiah reminds the children of Israel. He said, "Go, eat of the fat, drink of the sweet," in Nehemiah chapter 8 and verse 10, "and send portions to him who has nothing prepared. For this day is holy to our Lord. Do not be grieved, for the joy of the Lord is your strength." As we celebrate, our strength is renewed. As we become joyful, that joy, the joy of the Lord, indeed is our strength. And it's a strength that motivates us to continue doing what we need to do, even as we honor the Lord, as we worship him, and as we continue to serve him. And so as we celebrate another year, we want to celebrate with thanksgiving. We want to celebrate with joy, thanking the Lord for the things, for his goodness, and for the things that he has done for us. I think it's St. Augustine who said that the Christian should be an hallelujah from head to foot. That's dancing. I got saved in India, and our pastor was an American missionary. From time to time, we'll ask us Africans to come and do a presentation to African students. And whenever we came, we will begin to sing and dance. And Africans, we can't just sing like those hymnals where you're just standing straight. We have to do something. And he used to wonder, how come it starts from the mouth and ends up in the feet? With the dancing and celebration. And that's the African way. We are praising him in the African way. It's part of our lives and should be part of our lives as Christians. So celebration or celebrating is part of the Christian discipline. Let's be a people who come and remember to celebrate God's goodness. Remember to celebrate God's faithfulness. Remember, like the one leper, to come back and say thank you to the Lord. And so that's what we're doing today. Just coming back and saying, "Lord, thank you." We have been through many things, but here we are. We have been through a lot of turmoil. We have been through a lot of challenges. Thinking about COVID, thinking about the times when we have sat down as a leadership team and wondered, what should we do? And here we are. And that is proving out that God still has a plan and a purpose for us as a church. And so as we sit here today, we want to celebrate God's goodness in what he is doing. And as I bring this to a close...